Okie dokie. Let's see if I can hear everything properly. Do a bit of a mic check, if you will. Alright. Seems like everything's coming okay there. Now we'll just wait for some folks to show on up. Need some peeps. So we'll give it just a little bit. I'm a little bit early. Gives me some time. Looks like Rick was here. Rick Gamer. We'll get cranking here in just a few. Hey, Cargo, how you doing? You doing all right? Hopefully you can hear the stream okay. Hopefully everything is the volume okay? On fire. Yeah, just let me know if the volume sounds good and everything's coming through good on that end. Hopefully. It's been a long time since I've done a live stream. Like a very, very long time. Actually, I don't even think I've live streamed on this computer. Good. That's good. Thank you. Thank you for the sound check, sir. Yeah, I'm trying to remember if I've live streamed on this computer, and I don't believe I have. I think that it was on my last computer before I got that, and I can't even remember when I got the new one. Anyway, enough about that. Oh yeah, always playing Empire. You gotta do it. Yeah, I think let's see. Let me switch over here. We'll take a gander. Yeah, I'm up to 77:46 hours. I didn't play a whole lot today. I played like a few hours today. I think I got in like 2 games. So I got in a few. Just a few. Couple multiplayer. I've been working on my campaigns on the weekends, the Blitz campaign. I haven't had as much time to work on that, but I've got probably about, I think, 3 episodes recorded and ready to go for the Blitz campaign. Oh, you like Warhammer 2? Okay, cool. So, how many of the Total War series do you have? For myself, I've got Empire, Napoleon, Medieval 2, Rome 2, Shogun 2. I think that's it. Actually, the order I got them in was Rome, Medieval 2, then I got Empire and Napoleon. And so I got them pretty much in order. I don't know, what am I talking about? I got them in order. I stopped getting them after Rome 2. I was so disappointed with Rome 2, to be honest. I think it was because I'm an older guy. I'm used to the old ways. I think that's, it seems like the younger crowd goes for the newer titles, as that would kind of make sense to me anyway. Yeah, so we'll just give it a few more minutes. It's actually it's like 8 o'clock now, but we'll give it a little bit of time for a few more people to join, and then I'll get started probably about 3 or 4 minutes on this topic. Like I said, I don't know how many people I'm going to get in this live stream. It's been like hella long since I've streamed, so people aren't used to me streaming like I used to. I used to have pretty frequent streams, but now I think it's time to get back into that, because I did really enjoy doing live streams. It's always a great fun to interact with you guys. So, yeah. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Let's see here. Yeah, Medieval 3, a lot of people want that. Are you subscribed to, let me think of his name, Melkor. Melkor had a video out, I think, not long ago, where he was discussing Medieval 3, and he actually had one about Empire 2 as well. He does some really good content. So if you seen his videos, he's got some pretty good ideas on what he came up with. I think Medieval 3 is probably the most logical next choice for a historical title, in my opinion. I would be shocked if they didn't go with Medieval 3. I mean, because they seem to have abandoned the gunpowder era. But you never know. Things can surprise us. Yeah, Legend is pretty freaking amazing. He is very amazing. The guy has a extreme understanding for the game. I mean, beyond what I can ever imagine. I have not played Troy. I actually have it, and I have not played it yet. I know that might sound funny, but I just haven't had a desire to play it. I probably will play it. I mean, it looks beautiful, to be honest with you. Troy does look extremely good. Hey, Luke, how you doing? They need to fix the wasteland between France, Germany, and Italy. Yeah, that is definitely true. There's a lot of nothingness going on. Also, Switzerland, yeah. That's very true. That is very true. Hey, Rick, how you doing? So, if any new game must contain the Navy. Yes, you got that right, man. I mean, you got to put that back in. I mean, Empire was there. So, it's, Troy is boring. Yeah, I've heard that, actually. I've heard that. I haven't gotten to play it yet on my own, so I can't really specifically say for myself. But, yeah. It seems to be the what people are saying about it. But everybody seems to really be in agreement that it looks beautiful. So, I mean, at least you got that. Also, the bland sky. Yeah, I agree. Have you seen weather in it? Because I haven't seen rain or anything in any videos I've seen in Troy. So those of you who have played it, maybe you know, but I don't think I've seen one rainstorm. Modern Total Wars have completely revamped provinces. Yes, I know. And some people like it, and I just, when I first started trying to play that with Rome 2, at first the concept seemed kind of interesting, but I quickly grew out of favor with it, and it might be because I'm so prejudiced against Rome 2 that could be part of the reason. So I really need to go back and give Rome 2 a try. A lot of people say it is better. They can put much more detail in France, but doesn't have to be one region. Yeah, agree. At least they did get Alsace-Lorraine, but I mean, it's like, that's so... I mean, you couldn't add more than that. Weather is a thing in Troy. We need all the resources implemented into the old games, because only gold is boring. Yeah. But I prefer not fight in it. Rome 2, number 1. Oh, Cargo, you're funny. Um, uh, okay, so I'm going to kind of get started here. We got, looks like 6 people in the chat, so I'm going to kind of get started. And I'm just going to, I'll get to your chat messages as I can, but I just want to start talking about my personal experiences with Total War, how I got there, and I think that can kind of build a reason for why I feel what I feel about if they do. Rome is best. But if they do Empire 2, what I feel would be good. But honestly, I'm only one person, so just me doesn't matter as much as I think a lot of people. That's why it's good to kind of get other people's ideas. So, anyways, let me bring you down memory lane here for just a brief moment here. Give me a second. Let me switch over to this. And I'm going to bring you down my real-time strategy, where I started with real-time strategy. Now, Lords of the Realm 2, hopefully you guys can see this, but Lords of the Realm 2 was my first kind of look into what it was like to play a turn-based game with real-time battles. And believe me, they were as bad as it gets, but it was still pretty cool, and I enjoyed this game. It was the first game I ever experienced that turn-based with the real-time strategy. I always preferred the turn-based games because that's what I was most familiar with, because I am old as dirt, if you did not know. And then after that, I progressed up, and in 2005, I believe, Imperial Glory came out. And I've always had a fascination with the era around the Revolutionary War, the 1700s, the 7 Years' War, all those wars. I've always had a super fascination with that time period. And Imperial Glory, of course, covering the start of the 1800s with the Napoleonic Wars. It was a pretty cool game. If you haven't ever seen it, I recommend you checking out some videos on YouTube. There's some things that you can see the foundation of Empire being started in this game. So yeah, turn-based games. you gotta love them. They're Cargo. But you're 66. That's cool. I'm 48, so I'm starting to get up there. And okay, so Imperial Glory. Imperial Glory got some things really right in the game. And if you've played it, if you haven't, it's only a couple bucks on Steam. It's worth it. I think it, I've played it a little bit. After you play Empire, it's kind of hard to go back to it, but there is some things in it that are pretty cool. And I want to kind of talk about that. One of the things is that when you fight battles in your capital region, you're actually fighting in like your town, in your town square, or like in Britain and Russia's case, in your forts. And you really have a feeling of immersion into that game where you're like, when the enemy is in your town square, you're like, I want them the fuck out of my town square. These guys gotta go. So you have a strong defense there, and it was just pretty cool because like I said, you had that immersion in it. And I think that's what kind of Empire lost with the fort battles that they have. You don't have that feeling of being in the battle, like where you're like, damn it, they can't take this region from me. I love this region. And I think that's one thing that definitely needs to be added in the game. But once I got to Rome after playing Imperial Glory, I loved Rome. And I think that's why I loved Rome so much, is because you did have that immersion in it with Rome Total War. And then also with Medieval. And then when Empire came out, it was a very big shock to me because so much of the game had changed with the regions and how the regions were displayed. But I loved the era so much, I stuck with it. And that's kind of why I've always had the love for Empire, because now I'm just so familiar with it that it just makes sense to me. So, anyways, now that's kind of my path on getting to Empire and why I have such a love for it. So now it's time to talk about what you guys want. So I'm going to kind of read through the chat here and try and catch up with where we are. Rome 2 is number 1, says Cargo. And Wild Ride, nope, Old Rome 1 is the best. I love Old Rome 1. I want Empire 2 to have different start dates. I think they had that in Medieval 1 where you could start at different times. Luke has a channel if you want to check out his channel. He's got some great content as well. So make sure that you check out Luke Kang's channel. I might be saying your last name wrong, so I apologize for that. Cargo is they need Empire 2 because Shogun 2 didn't cover enough gunpowder and real guns. I agree there. But I think Shogun 2 is just a different game altogether. So I understand in Shogun 2's part. I don't have a lot of hours in that game, but I do have some. Last played 1 year ago. Turn-based games. Yep, that's where I'm catching back up to. Started with free mobile games. Yeah, I didn't even have a mobile phone, believe it or not, until like I think it was like almost 99 when I got my first cell phone. I was like a holdout. I was like, I don't want that damn thing. I don't want work calling me, because I was in retail management and I didn't want my work people calling me on a mobile phone all the time. So I resisted. Let's see. Sounds like Rome with gunpowder. Yeah, Empire had a ton of work. Problem is that it was too big. Yeah, I think that's the problem. The computers at the time just weren't able to keep up with what they were trying to do. And now computers are so much more advanced. I think that if they went back and retouched Empire 1, they could come back with a very polished and very solid game. You know, I really wonder why they don't. I really do. Because there's a lot of things they left out of Empire that's actually in the background of the game. Did you know that they had where wounded soldiers, they have the animations already built into the game. They have it built into the game in the background of the game. Animations for your riflemen to go into prone position. It was supposed to be a tech that you researched after rifling. I mean, that's freaking awesome. I would have loved to have had that. They also had family trees. That's something everybody loves. They have that in the background of the game too. And they had weather. So hurricanes were going to be a thing in the Caribbean. Yeah, so that's sad that they left that out. It really is. So yeah, you know, almost sometimes I wish they'd go back and fix Empire, and they could even, you know, add it as like a DLC cost. I think people would be okay with that. I don't think they should do an outrageous price, because people still kind of got screwed out on not getting a complete game as it is. So you almost owe it to your fans to get Empire 1 right first. But that's just because I love Empire 1. Hey, Minecraft, how you doing, man? So anyways, I actually did a Facebook post on Empire group I'm part of, and I asked the people in there what their thoughts were for Empire 2, and I had some pretty interesting ideas as well. Luke says Rip was going to be in that Central European wasteland as well. Okay, so good. I'm glad to hear that. All right, so here's some of the things that some of the people on the Facebook page came up with. And please interject into the chat below. You can enter into that damn chat right there and let me know your ideas for what you want in Rome 2 and also what you don't want to see in Rome 2. Put that on in the chat, because, you know, we all want to know what made New Empire 2. That's what we want to know, Minecraft. That's what we want to know. Anyways, here's some of the things that some people on the Facebook page came up with, and this is all recent. I mean, you can see on Reddit and everything else. There's tons of people that have ideas, so they're all over the place. But here's some of them that they just came up with on my Facebook group, not mine, but the Empire Facebook group. Ship bombardment, like in Shogun 2's Fall of the Samurai. Now that would be pretty cool. And also, what's that Admiral game? They kind of have that in that too. No spam archer, huh? So ship bombardment. I think that would be pretty fantastic if they were able to add that into a new Empire game. It'd be freaking awesome. Of course, the most unanimous thing that people want, you can't really get far in this discussion without saying it. Hey, Nasty, how you doing? Is full world map. 30-30s on Thanksgiving this year. Eat up. Yeah. Trust me, I've been doing a little bit too much eating. I can't wait to see what I do in Thanksgiving. I'm probably going to gain too much weight. Yeah, Paige, you're at 13. Yeah, I know what you mean. That we're in the same group there. Who was Darth Mod? Rick Gamer also has a YouTube channel too, guys. Definitely check out his YouTube. He does some just wonderful work on his channel, so you guys definitely need to check out his content. He does some of the best cinematography stuff in there. The guy should be he's got talent, let me tell you. Minecraft says make all you can play any kingdom in Empire. Let's see here. So of course the full map, that's what a lot of people want. Of course a working game. And Minecraft says he's still working on his. France, of course, having more than one region. We've actually had some people in the chat already mention that. France only has France and Alsace-Lorraine. France needs to be broken up into other regions. That's a hugely requested thing. Daisy, how you doing? You remember how Empire Fort battles tend to be really buggy? Yes, they definitely are. They tend to lag once you start knocking down walls, and it is super frustrating. It is aggravating as hell. And that's it can be at a crawling pace trying to fill out there. I actually am surprised I haven't pulled out all my hair. Sometimes the lag in those. Luke has 150 hours and never had a fort battle. Auto resolve, save, load life. Yes, you save some life there. You do. Actually, what I've been doing a lot lately in the campaign, not necessarily in the campaigns that I show on my channel, but in the ones I just play on my own for my own enjoyment. I actually just siege out, and I try to avoid siege battles at all costs, which is kind of sad. Total Wars Master is in the house. Another YouTuber. How you doing, Total Wars Master? Nova would be cool to have two different scenarios, like Hearts of Iron 4, 1936 and 1939, so you can play, I don't know, and a scenario in 13 colonies in that period with another U.S. independent. You know, that's a good point. Kind of like we were talking earlier. Different start times would be something really requested. There are two, but only one is playable. USA. Good. Glad to hear that, Dusty. Dusty is the Total Wars Master. Okay, so Wild Ride 25. I did quit YouTube last year and did not have time to make videos. Okay, so Wild Ride, YouTuber as well. needs to be redone. It's old. Yes, it is old. 2009 is when it came out. So yeah, it's getting up there in age, just like your good Faramir's Rangers. But if France is split up, then how are we going to snipe France at the beginning of the game? That's a good point. And same with London. London is the same thing. France, you can just jump across the channel and take London. That's a great point. So, Dusty's got 750 hours. Yeah, I got 7,000. Yeah, it's pretty nuts. Okay, so also somebody brought up about Mexico only being one region as well. And I didn't ever think about that before, but that is true. Kind of Mexico is like one of the biggest, most important regions in North America. And it's just one big region. I kind of like that, though, to be honest. The greatest thing about Total War is Pack File Manager. You know, it's funny because Dixon, he does a lot of... he actually does some mod. He actually did a little bit of a mod for me. So... yeah, Pack File Manager is pretty cool. I just have no knowledge about how to do that. I wish somebody, Rick, would do a tutorial on that. How to do modding, because nobody has any tutorials on that. It'd be pretty cool if somebody did. Spain is pretty much just one region like France. Yes, it is. You have... with Spain, you do have what is it, Gibraltar, but that's really just like a rock. Pardon the, I'm sorry, I don't know where I was going with that joke, but anyways, Nova says, how much longer will it take before Creative Assembly talk about a new Empire Total War? Yeah, that's a great question. That is a great question, and I think that I don't know what they're trying to do with that, if they're trying to just build anticipation, build excitement, whatever they're doing. But I think what they're really doing is they're building an opportunity for a competitor to come in and get something done. And I'm quite shocked that no competitors have tried to touch this market, because there's been some similar games out there, like we were talking about earlier. Imperial Glory was one. There's been some similar games that did turn-based and real-time battles before. So I question, why has there not been another one come up since? I know this is... Luke says modding is really easy in Medieval 2 and Rome 2. Really just a few edit file lines modding. Yeah, easy for you, but not for me, my friend. I know this is going to sound like EU4 or Victoria, but it'd be interesting to see a manpower system maybe. Then may we get super OP in the late game, making so much money you still can't spam. You know, it's interesting you bring up EU4. EU4 has gotten super popular. And I kind of understand why people want a little more complexity. For myself, I don't know what you guys' experiences with EU4 has been. In Hearts of Iron, all those type of games. I have tried them. My God, I have tried to play those games. It's just a way different game, frankly, than... what Total War is. And I think I love the aspect of being able to actually command my men on the battlefield, and then also lead my country as a ruler. So you get different aspects of the game, whereas with EU4, it's just all management, and that's great. I guess I'm, retail management for so long, I don't want to do that crap. Dusty says CA sucks, been going downhill. Wild Ride, Faramir's Rangers. So you think old Rome Total War? Yeah, I love the old Rome Total War. It had heart to it. It had soul, and I think that's what some of the newer games are missing, in my opinion. Now, that's not to say that other people don't love them for other reasons, because they certainly do. I haven't gone past Rome 2, so I can't really say much about the other games, but I can say for myself that when I experienced Rome 2, and I honestly, let me see. I don't even think I have that many hours in Rome 2. It's going to be sad. Let's see. Where the hell is uh, Rome 2? I've got 48 hours in Rome 2. That'll tell you how much I love it versus 77:46 in Empire. So you can see where my love is. Now, the old Rome game, I've probably got thousands of hours in it, but that was on the discs, and I transferred it over to Steam many moons ago. I think I ended up buying the game because I think I lost one of the discs in the move, so I ended up buying it on Steam. I actually have like 2 of the discs laying around somewhere. Dusty says, Elite's glitched and trees sucks. Not sure what you mean there. Empire Total War is more complex. In some aspects not. Rick Gamer, I've never make mods, just changed the main files. I must have changed everything in the Total Wars game. That's interesting. I think the only thing I've ever changed was the debug cam. I used the debug cam for a while after a little bit of arm turning, but I really don't like using the debug cam. I feel it's just too high up. I always ran through stakes and stupid crap like that. Dusty says, Total Wars Master says glitches make it very spicy. Yeah, it does. Faramir greater than 95% of the pair. I wish. I'm pretty darn good, but I don't. I mean, I will lose a pretty good percentage of my battles just because I'm a reckless player too. Because I'm very aggressive, so I could win against anybody and lose against anybody. Luke King says there's a lot of interesting things that weren't fully to come to fruition. Yes, there was. There truly was. And actually, you know what? Let me because I'm a reckless player too. Oops. Let me close that out. Go into... Actually, bear with me a moment. I'm going to try to find the video. So talk amongst yourselves in the chat while I find this for you. I think you'll find this interesting. I think you'll find this very interesting for those of you who might not have seen this. So bear with my madness for a minute. Okay. Almost there. Stay on target. Here we go. All right. So I did a video. Welcome back, everyone. A while back ago. Let me put it to where you guys can see it. All right. Now let me bring it up. All right. Hopefully you guys can see this. And I'll be back to the chat in a minute. But in this video, here it is. I discussed some of the things, the animations that were left out of Empire. And here's the prone position. And that was one of the animations they left out. They're going from standing position to prone. Obviously, you can read it down there. I'm sorry. But these are some of the animations that are in Empire that were just left out of the game. Love the wounded crawling guys. That would have been great to see. I know they did get that in Shogun. But it's sad to see that they had all these animations in there and they were just left out of the game. but it shows the potential of what Empire 1 had. Think about what Empire 2 could have. I mean, my God. So here's another thing. They had family trees that were set up. There, all the written descriptions are in there. There's also a mod that reactivates them. I can't find that mod. I can't find it to find my life. I can't find it. The basic mechanics work, but only Britain as special characters. It is possible to add more in the database. So you can add it yourself, but this is from years ago. I found this video and I recorded it, and I tried to look up the video again. The video is deleted, and it actually had more footage, so I wish I would have recorded all the footage. But here's the other things that were left out. Military advanced skirmishing, so kind of like fire and advance. Navy pocket chronometer. Underhanded submersible warfare. So I think they were looking at doing some subs, I guess. Mortar ship design. And then, of course, they were going to have storms, like meteorological studies, so you could deal with being advised of storms that were coming, that kind of stuff. Advance and column. Interesting stuff. So sad that it was left out. Now let me grab back to the chat here. Okay. So Wild Ride has 36 hours on Rome 2 at Steam. Yeah, so you're right there with me. Let's see. Minecraft Empire. I beat Russia Empire and then Ottoman. Good for you. I'm glad you got that done. I know you've been working on that Ottoman one for a while there. Toll Wars Master, when units get glitched on the trees. Yeah, I don't think I've had that. Daisy says, I like the idea of being able to play a smaller nation, maybe one of the smaller German nations or the Italian nations. That would be really cool. I agree with you. Also, Portugal. That was one that was mentioned, I think, somewhere. Being able to play Portugal, I mean, they had a pretty big role in the Empire era as well. Empire Total War late game, take one region, give 7,000 gold, redo. Dusty, you're funny. There are 15 good players in Empire Total War. No, there's more than that. You stop that, Dusty. They all stay together. You're funny. No, there's quite a few good players on Empire. Minecraft lost a new you lost to you new beat you yet. Oh, you haven't beat me yet. Okay. Yeah, probably not, but you're still new, so that's okay. There's plenty of time. You'll beat me eventually. Luke King, there's also diplomacy. AI never makes peace. Yes. You're absolutely right. Diplomacy is a hot mess. It starts out super easy and gets ridiculously hard to get anything done later. So the diplomacy is definitely one that needs to be fixed in a newer game. Let's see here. Luke King, well, I'm willing to buy a lot, but we still want a colony. Luke King, are we going to ignore the fact that ceramics only exist in Elat? I don't understand that. Sorry. I'm having a civil war. Let's see. Empire Total War needs a big overhaul. It really does. The basic game of Empire needs to be overhauled. Needs a fine tuning. But even still, it's a great game. Let's see. I would love to see Ironclads. Ironclads would be fantastic in a new game. I totally agree with you. That would be freaking epic seeing those in naval battles. Wild Ride says, I did sub your channel last year and like all your videos and you good games. Well, thank you. I appreciate the sub, sir. I really do. And I'm glad you do like the content. I feel like I'm getting better. Sometimes It's definitely a journey. I know I put out some pretty bad videos from time to time, but trust me, I'm doing my best. Um, let's see. Came out. Okay, so anyways, let me get back to some of my list. So some of the other things, of course, I think this is pretty obvious. The blood smoke. I mean, that's been something that they modded into Vanilla Empire for, I think, almost when the game came out. Somebody did a mod to add to the blood and smoke. That was really one of the first mods I remember hearing about. I think it was Brand that did that one. I can't remember. Civil War era and Total War, Dusty says, or Total War Master says, yes, I totally agree. I think that would be a fantastic DLC add-in Civil War. Or, you know, think about this. If you had it to where you had the USA, and if you didn't meet certain conditions, then the South rebels and becomes a civil war for you to have to deal with. That'd be freaking cool. So you have certain conditions you have to meet. If you don't follow these diplomacy rules, then you're going to end up with a civil war. That'd be freaking awesome. China region would be fun to have. I totally agree, and Japan as well. I absolutely agree. Yeah, I agree. A lot of nations, especially in the Victorian era, even more so, got involved in China. So having that in the game and letting everybody kind of tinker around with what you could do is playing with China, that would be pretty cool, especially Japan. Because Japan would be splintered. You know, if you got like a couple different factions that you start off with in Japan where you're trying to unify the nation, that'd be pretty cool. Empire 2 Total War, I think, out in the year 2022. I sure do wish. That would be pretty cool. Okay, so a couple other things. And Melkor, in his video, he was talking about railroads and adding railroads in. If you haven't checked out Melkor's video, it was pretty interesting. And I think railroads would be pretty cool. I know there are several games that have added the aspect of railroads, not necessarily the Total War series, but I think there's a lot you can do with it as far as like you're able to transport your troops faster, supplies and resources, population. There's definitely things that can be done there. Little know when USA in 1800 Japan blocked ports. Okay, so a couple other things that some people brought up were having, of course, the fort battles be a more immersive situation, and also having battles in your cities. And that's what I was kind of talking about at the beginning of the stream, when in Imperial Glory, it was freaking fantastic when you were fighting, and like I said, you really had a sense of territory, that sense of possession of the battlefield that you had, and it was really cool. Hey Kyle, how you doing? 1800 to 1900, that would be pretty cool. Victorian era would be awesome. But there was something about that immersiveness of being able to fight in your own cities, seeing those town squares and stuff in Imperial Glory, that really made some immersive details into the game. And I think, like I said, Rome had that to an extent. It's just sad to see. Oh, we got a new subscriber. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. But I think that was a real sad thing that they left out of Empire, the first Empire, was that the battles just seemed disconnected a little bit. You only have a few different maps. There's not as many river crossings. You only have, I think, like 1 or 2 different maps for river crossings. And I really love the river crossing battles. God, I can't even speak today. I think they're great. Dave says most city or town battles in Empire involve having 95% of the fight happening outside of it. You are absolutely right there. That you are talking to the speaking to the choir there. You know, the only times I think that I have fought in the city is in India, because the cities are so small in the maps in India. It's like a very small little town, and you can actually fight in that to an extent, because the roads seemed wider. So I think those are the only cities that I actually have fought in. It's very sadly unlike Napoleon, where Napoleon you could have those battles. So I totally agree there, Daisy. Rome 2 and Rome, you can do that to new mod, make Rome whole new game. Yeah, that is true. That is very true. The Uber Gamer, thank you for your subscription, sir. He says, I'd like a couple of unique governments, a little like EU4. You know, I haven't played EU4 a whole lot. I've really, like I said earlier, I've tried. So I don't have a lot of experience with EU4, so I'm not 100% sure what that exactly means. But if I'm understanding correctly, it might mean the different government structures, maybe. I'm not 100% sure. Kyle Fish says pathways would have to be improved for the city and fort battles. Totally agree. You know what? Talking about that, Kyle, in the Road to Independence campaign, has the best fort battles in the game. There are some great fort battles that you fight in there, where you have to go down the road, over bridges, over waterways, and you have to actually march up to the fort under artillery fire through specific places. So it makes it a very bloody march to get to the city. To the fort. And those were fantastic. Why couldn't they be in the regular game, just in Road to Independence? That was a big mistake there. Luke says, Luke says, river crossings make Artie a lot more important. They sure do. Putting troops on either side was way too fun. You know, I really have had some just fun river battles, just the aspect of it. I love seeing dead bodies in water. Did I say that out loud? I'm just kidding. I don't really. How cool it would be to have regiments firing in the streets between houses. I totally agree. I love it. And sometimes I actually force myself to fight in the streets. You might see that in some of my videos every once in a while. I try to force myself to fight in the streets because I just want it. I want it. And it's just so hard to do. While having soldiers in those buildings, never get to do it in Empire. Yeah, you know, it's the late game that's really fun when you have platoon fire, because you can put them in those condensed positions and they could just rip through that platoon fire so fast. Like the Coldstream Guards. Oh, man, they can do some damage in some streets, boy. They can do some damage. More realistic buildings. Totally agree. Unique buildings, too. Like, absolutely. Like, another subscriber. Thank you, Stinger. Appreciate your subscription. I think that the thing that would be really cool, what you're talking about there, Rick, I totally agree. Those more realistic buildings, having Versailles in a battle, that'd be freaking awesome. And I think they had that in Imperial Glory. I think that was what France had to fight. And Kyle agrees with Rick Gamer. Also, guys, we have a lot of YouTubers in the chat, so please make sure that you're showing them some love too. This is a great way for us smaller channels to be able to connect with one another and help each other to grow. So I appreciate everybody here for helping to support each of us. Some of the other YouTubers in the chat would be Minecraft King. You got Rick Gamer, Luke Kong. I could be saying that wrong. I'm sorry if I am. You had Total Wars Master, and Rick Gamer. I don't know if I said you already. But we have several YouTubers. I might be missing somebody. So if so, let me know, because it's important to help get the love out to these other channels. There's some great channels out there that a lot of people aren't seeing, and we definitely need to help make sure that you guys do. Okay, so shorter grass. I agree with that. And less rain. My God, is it just me, or is every battle in Empire have freaking rain? God, that drives me crazy. It's like every battle I gotta like squint to see, because it's like a massive deluge, a downpour like crazy. It drives me nuts. Anyway, some great points you guys are making. Minecraft named a regiment after me. That's awesome. What'd you name it? The big fat guy with the beard? I'm just kidding. Yeah, I noticed a lot of your videos have the comments turned off too. Okay, so of course, like I said, a lot of people request the family tree. I think that's in all the games since they took them out of Medieval 2 was the last game I think it had it. But yeah, I think those are some great points. Yeah, the wet powder makes misfires a certainty. Yes, it does. It really does. Now I know that multiplayer in Empire isn't as popular as it was many years ago. Although there is still a small following of people that play multiplayer in Empire, a pretty loyal following. So if any of you are ever interested in playing multiplayer, there is still some of us out there. And I do suggest hitting me up on Steam. I think I put the link to Steam in the chat. If not, just leave a message in the chat, and I will connect with you on Steam. Because it's a great way to connect with people. I don't do Discord. I don't like the privacy issues on Discord. I think Steam's a much more stable environment, and it's one I feel safe with. You know, it's funny because Empire was the game that introduced me to Steam. It was the game that introduced me to it, and I was like, what? When I opened my package and busted out my DVDs, and I went to install Empire, and I found out that I had to have this Steam to play Empire, and I was like, this is nonsense. This is an outrage. I just want to play the game like I would do with Empire and Medieval 2. And boy, was that a trip. But I have grown to really appreciate Steam for a lot of different reasons. Anyway, get off that soapbox. Is there going to ever be an Empire 2? That is the question, my friend. That is the question. I think, Jake, the big question is there going to be a competitor to ever make an Empire 2? Because it does seem, it wouldn't be an Empire 2, obviously, but at least somebody else to do that. I mean, there's been games similar to it, like Imperial Glory, but that was in 2005, the same year that Rome came out. So, I mean, there's been people that have done games similar to it. Why have we not seen another competitor come out with it to really hold CA to the fire? I think that was a lot of the problems with Madden for you, those of you football players of football games. I remember playing Madden. Madden used to be really good, but there was other competitors out there. When all the other competitors went away, Madden went to hell in a handbasket. Kyle Fish says, I had the same reaction with Steam. Yeah, you know where I'm coming from. I was very hesitant about Steam. And now I really enjoy it. Yeah, Rick too. You heard someone working on it. Well, hook us up, Minecraft. Hook us up. Let us know who it is. We'll all bombard them. Get them working on it fast, because we are definitely in need of Empire 2. Now, so that's the big question. You know, like, what is the next historical title that CA is going to put out? And I think that's, a lot of people are speculating it's going to be Medieval 2 or Medieval 3, I'm sorry, is what they're going to put out next, is what a lot of people think. I don't know. Who knows? We know that they're going to put out another Warhammer because they have a contract to do so. But as far as historical titles, I have no idea what they're going to do. Let's see. The Uber Gamer says, I'd personally want personal traits like you have in Napoleon, like the general, and he could start a coup, and it would act like a revolution, an empire, or something like that. I totally agree. And that would be something that could help spark civil wars and such. I think that would be a great element to add to the game. I really do. You know, thinking about that, I think that's the biggest missed opportunity. I mean, you know, Civil War. You just don't see the Civil War in games, and that is an era that a lot of people want. You know, I'm just in shock we haven't gotten a Victorian era game. And CAA said like a while back ago they weren't going to do the same time periods before, but we know that's a bunch of bull because they did Thrones of Britannia, which is a time period they already covered. So we know that wasn't 100% honest either. So, yeah, who knows what they're going to do. I every time they make an announcement, I'm just like on the edge of my seat, hoping to hear the start of the word be with an E. Yeah, just please, my God. Let's get back to this era. But honestly, okay, so this is the next thing I want to talk about. Now this, you guys are going to love. I think you guys are going to love this. So bear with me here. All right. So, what if they did Empire 2? And what if it was a big piece of shit? What if it totally sucked like Thrones of Britannia's hate that they get? With their current track of things, with generals being OP, where you got the single unit that's like super OP, are we going to see somebody like Wellington, where he is like a regiment that goes in this like super square formation where he's like pretty much invincible. Sorry, I can't even speak correctly. Are we going to see a general like, you know, because Napoleon was known to be an artillery guy. Is Napoleon going to have like a freaking cannon under his arm as he's riding on his horse, like shooting his cannon? I mean, is that what we're going to get? God, I hope not. I hope not. I really do. I can't imagine the types of OP generals that they'll have. Are we going to have freaking General Washington out there driving that sports car like you see in that commercial that's on a lot of Empire pages? Are you going to see something like, I don't know, maybe General Custer out there with a Gatling gun? God, that would be scary to me to think what they would do with the generals. Let's see. Kyle Fish says, I expect it to be unfinished piece of garbage. That is good. That is good. It's just like the predecessor. If Empire 2 sucks, then it might bring more people back to Empire. You're right. That's a good point. That's a good point. You know, I think it has gotten better with age, to be honest with you. I really do. The Uber Gamer 67 says, one more thing I'd like to add is some sort of general leveling system going from Lieutenant General to Field Marshal. You know, you're right on the nose there. That is something that they actually had in Imperial Glory. You started out with the as like a lieutenant where you only had a couple units, and then you went up to like a captain and then a general, and that was pretty cool. So yeah, if you want 20 more than 20 units, Like you start off as like a captain, and you only got 20 units, and then you can make like lieutenant commander, and you get 25, and if you get general, you get 30, something like that. That'd be freaking cool. That would be really cool. I think that's a excellent point. Excellent point. Washington drives the Lincoln. That's true. Oh God, that'd be great. Like Field Marshal could essentially hold 40 units or something like that. Yeah, that would be right. I'm liking how you think. I'm liking how you think. You found the guy working on it. Minecraft's gonna hook us all up. He's gonna give us his phone number. We're gonna make sure there's gonna be no OP generals in this damn game. Let's see what else. Yeah, I'm scared of what they would do to it though. Like, would they really blow it? Would they really blow it and put these stupid OP generals in Empire 2, where they just go through like wrecking crews, like bulletproof generals, and that kind of stuff? That would really scare me. It really does. It does. And I also, I don't know if anybody's put this in the chat, but the fact that you have to recruit your armies straight from the general, that was something they tried to do in Empire, and people didn't like it. And they went to it now where you have to have a general to have an army. I still like having a couple units where I can keep them off to safeguard a little position. I think that's important. I mean, that's kind of factual. Jose, how you doing, man? Haven't seen you in a dog's age. Of course, I haven't been streaming in a dog's age, but it's good to have you back, sir. I hate the generals of Napoleon, not going to lie. Yeah, there's a lot of things I don't like about Napoleon. There are some things they really did well. But I think they could have done the generals much better in Napoleon. Totally agree with you, Stinger. Wild Ride 25 says, I think have hours of 30,000 old Rome Total War. And yeah, 2005. Yep. Was it 60? God, I hope not. Of course, that's money already spent. But yeah, I think it was like 35 is what I got it for. I might have got it on sale though. I don't know. I think I spent like 35 for my Rome 1. I got it a little bit after it had come out. So I think I got it late in the year of 2005. Let's see. Daisy, my crystal ball tells me that Empire 2 will not do so well on launch, but we'll have many DLCs to get them. Oh, you know your history very well, Daisy. Sounds a lot like Rome 2, doesn't it? It definitely does. I totally agree with you there. That is a scary thought, indeed. So we're kind of talking right now about what could go wrong with Empire 2. What could be the disasters that we want to see avoided? And I think that's definitely a disaster we'd want to see avoided for Empire 2. Let's see. The World War I mod for Napoleon Total War was fun, though. I would love remastered for Empire Total War. It definitely needs a remaster. To me, it is a necessity that CA should go back and remaster Empire. If I'm not mistaken, my good friend Gunny, who's been on some of the streams with me before, and does a lot of multiplayer with me, like we were talking about it. He's like my old Gunny, and he was talking about that Empire was made for the 32-bit processors, and it's just the game was just not meant for the computers that we have today. But what could they do if they remastered it for better computers? What could we actually get? Could we get the things that were built in the background, like the prone position, the hurricanes, the family trees, all that stuff that's actually built into Empire 1. So remastered Empire, I think, is a necessity that they should go back and get done. Switzerland must be a country. I agree 100%. They were a thing then, and they definitely should be in the game. I'm still upset to have to have to pay a DLC just for. Yes, I'm right there with you, Daisy. Paying for all these DLCs, that's something I'm not. And you know what? Honestly, that's one of the things that turns me off immensely about EU4 and the Paradox games. I'm sorry, I'm not going to pay $400 to play a fucking game. It's just not going to happen. Pardon my language, but I'm not. That's just too much. That's way too much, in my opinion. And the only reason I got EU4 was on Steam sale. And that's kind of like, oh yeah, we'll give you the game cheap. Now you got to buy all this damn DLC. I'm sorry. You know, some people, if you want to pay $400, that's fine. For me, I've got 3 kids, and I can't be spending no $400 on a damn game. It just ain't gonna happen. So I mean, we got to be sensible about the cost of these games. My God, I totally agree with you there. Just put in a newer graphic engine and it. Yeah, that does help if they would do that, if they would update it, get it looking more polished, like, because Napoleon's polished game. Get it polished like Napoleon. But the one thing I hate about Napoleon is the damn shaky cam bullshit. I'm sorry, I can't stand it. Some of you might like it, but for me, I want at least an option to not be able to have that damn shaky cam on there whenever an artillery shell goes off. Because I feel like I'm going to jump out of the damn seat like I'm about to get bombarded. If you know what I mean. Yes, totally. 64-bit it has to be. Love the app. Tell me what I want to know. Stinger says, whoa, that's crazy. Imagine having a battlefield with a hurricane and storm effect. I know. Or, I mean, because you got to think, when the hurricanes come through, what they would actually do to your settlements. I mean, the fact that that's built into Empire 1 and is in the background. Like I said, you know, can you imagine that? A hurricane ripping through and, you know, you've seen it on the map. And you're like, Jesus, I hope it doesn't, you know, if you got like French Guiana and you're like, please, Jesus Christ, don't have that storm come to me. Go hit the fucking pirates, you know. Don't come to the French Guiana. I mean, it would add something to the game. Something that would be very cool. Yeah, it'd like wreck all your buildings and fuck up your, you know, it'd take you longer to rebuild them. That'd be cool. The DLCs are why I don't buy new games. I'm right there with you, Kyle. I'm a cheap son of a bitch. I am cheap as hell, and David, he don't like buying expensive games. I tell my kids, I'm like, if you want a new game, you better wait till the damn Steam sale. Minecraft King is got no DLC. Shaky cam sucks. Dixon, there you are, my friend. How you doing, sir? Yes, shaky cam is terrible. Shaky cam is very terrible. Update the skies. Yeah. Well, in the background of Empire, they had actually storms were going to be a thing. Hurricanes, earthquakes, all that was supposed to be a thing in Empire. It's all in the background of the game. Yes, I agree. The shaky cam has got to go, Napoleon Total War. It's gots to go. Rome 2 suck. Dumb AI and how built cities update. And yeah, I'm right there with you. I have a big hate for Rome 2. I just never have been a huge fan of Rome 2. But I do maybe need to give it a second chance. I've been saying that on these streams for a while. Maybe in the off season of my work, I'll be able to have a little bit of time to get that done. Minecraft's begging the storm to hit someone. Well, there was supposed to be a storm right here in the Gulf that I was hoping would come up to Texas and give us a little bit more rain. We just had one that did that. Because we need some rain here in Texas, my friends. Let's see. Thunder Force is late. Hi, I'm late, but I want to say hi. I'm sorry, I can't even read now. Say is that we had Empire 2 already. I wish, right? It's good to see you, Thunder Force, but in Japan it's called Fall of the Samurai. Too bad CA decided to make it Shogun 2 expansion, and that, yeah, such a small map. That is true. Shogun 2 is still a good game. I think it's probably, in my opinion, the last good game that I have experienced. That doesn't mean everybody. It's just the last one that I've enjoyed. The Uber Gamer says he lied, but one thing I'd like is a formidable country like, for instance, the German Empire. You know, that would be a pretty cool aspect if you could have a unification thing where you could actually, like, ally with all the other German states, and then after conditions, you could unify them. That would be pretty neat. Pretty neat indeed. It'd be like a... you would get bonuses for doing that. Like, perhaps you're able to... if you're able to unify Germany, you're able to have quicker or cheaper military recruitment by unifying Germany. That'd be pretty awesome. At least I think so. So that was a good idea there, Uber Gamer. Daisy, I like the idea of fighting a battle, then the storm comes, and you can see the troops being hit behind you. That'd be awesome. Can you imagine somebody getting hit by a freaking artillery shell flying up in the air and getting electrocuted in the damn storm? That'd be awesome. You know, or like on the fort walls, you know, like when they explode and the guys go flying everywhere, and then you see like the thunderbolts come down, just like electrocute all them. Does that mean I'm morbid that I... yeah. Okay, we're going to move on. But I think that'd be cool. I agree, Daisy. Minecraft King on Total War. Hey, Tommy T, how you doing, man? It's been a very long time, sir. It's good to be back on the stream. Let's see here. Minecraft King mod on Rome 2 revamped the game. Everything new. New kingdom, new empire. Yes. Dixon. That would be my biggest thing. I hate the small maps, the newer on the newer tiles. I agree. Empire is great because of the continents and so many battles for your goal. You know, and you're absolutely right there, Dixon. It's the different cultures you come into contact with. You know, you have all the different native factions. You have the different Indian factions. You have in the Africa and the Middle East, you got different factions. Hell, even in Russia and in the South America. I mean, that was the cool part of it. I totally agree. Totally agree. Minecraft at the Battle of Waterloo, it rained slow down the French. Yes, it did. Made some mud. Made some nice mud pies there, my friend. Daisy, Britain should get a morale boost with all its troops, depending on how much tea it gets in the trade. Yeah. Well, that depends on if it gets thrown in the Boston Harbor, right? Let's see. Dixon says the Battle of Sugar Fields, Cuba, are different than the frozen tundra of Siberia. That is very true, and that's the cool thing. And the battles in Mexico, you know, there's such a feel to it. And the battles in India with all the hills and such, pretty damn cool. Let's see. Lewis, hi, welcome to the chat, sir. Will there be another musket period time Total War game? We certainly hope there will be another musket period game. it is much requested, much loved. Empire and Napoleon definitely have a lot of following. Empire is still one of the top played Total War games. If you go through and you look at the what people are playing on Steam, you will find that Empire is still one of the top Total War games, and mostly it's because of the single player. Napoleon has most of its players are multiplayer. So, yep. You can turn off the shaky cam. That's cool. I didn't, see, that shows how little I play Empire. Napoleon. I don't play Napoleon that much. But anyway, I think, let's see. Dixon says Empire gets so much hate. Honestly, one of the biggest and one of the best Total War games. Totally agree, Dixon. Also, guys, Dixon has a YouTube channel, and my blonde moment here, guys. I forget the name of your channel, Dixon. I'm so sorry. So you'll have to throw it down in the chat there for everyone to see, because, like I said, we want to support all of our friends, all of our YouTube friends here. And we can all help each other's channels and make sure that we are getting ourselves out there, because certainly YouTube's not going to do it for us. We are not one of these big Hollywood elites who get their channels out there to everyone. So we've got to do the work for ourselves, my friends. Let's see. Where was that? I think it was at Thunder Force. Well, at least CA is not afraid to do huge campaign maps anymore. Mortal Empires for Warhammer 2 proves it. What they need to do is global map for Empire 2, and we'll forgive CA for everything. Let's hope so. Let's hope we would be able to forgive them. As long as they don't put Napoleon with a cannon under his arm, shooting cannon balls, being an OP general, then we would certainly, I agree with you, Thunder Force, we would certainly forgive them for all their sins. Because the map is the thing that's most requested. That's like number one on the list of things that people want. That world map, and also the next biggest thing is they want more regions of France, so that you don't have the situation of England being able to, or London, or troops from London being able to come over and take Paris so quickly in one turn. So I think also there's other ways, even if you didn't split France up into other regions, you just had France and Alsace-Lorraine. Maybe you had a southern region of France. But I think there's ways that you can make it more difficult for a faction like the British to be able to come over and take London, or vice versa, France being able to take London so easily. I think that could be done by making the fort battles much more difficult to be able to take those two settlements. You could have some massive fortifications to take London that would make you siege out London for several turns. That way you have, like, what is it, the reduction of your force, attrition in your force for laying under siege. That would be something that would be a really good part, that you could do it without breaking up the regions. But let's see here. Minecraft says if it didn't rain, Waterloo would be a lot different. UK may have lost. Yes, that is very true. They wouldn't have had mud pies for certain. But yeah, if it didn't rain, who knows what would have happened. You're absolutely right. Lewis Carton, sorry, I can't even read. I liked Empire better than Napoleon when it comes to the factions. I think most people do agree with you on that, Lewis. I really do. I think that what Napoleon got right was the look, the feel of the game, but what they blew tremendously, the campaigns were not as fun. You find very few people that actually play the campaigns on Napoleon. Most of the people that play Napoleon are multiplayer players. Um, you can see that in the numbers. I'm not saying that there isn't people that play the campaign, because there certainly is, but it's just more so a multiplayer game than any of the others. Let's see here. Where did we leave off? Yes, I totally agree. Garrison troops should not be just armed citizens. I think there's several mods that do have the garrison troops be much stronger troops. So I think that is absolutely true. I don't think they need to be elite soldiers, and I don't think that the garrison should have mortars and stuff like you'd get in Darth mod. I think that's that they shouldn't get that much, but I think they should have troops that are a lot better than Firelock citizens. That's for certain. Dixon says, if I had to make an Empire 2, obviously more regions and playable factions make republics more fun to play. You have to maintain your party, kind of like Rome 2 uniforms changed with the time period too. That would be cool. They did it in Rome. Once you had hit a certain level, your God, I can't remember what it's called. You know what I'm talking about, Rome, where your troops changed. You weren't able to get the hastati and all that anymore. You went to the legions. Anyway, sorry, I gotta get a drink. Gotta get some sweet tea in me. Rick Gamer, mods keep the game alive. That is true. There's some great mods, and I know. So that's something that we haven't really talked too much about. Let me get to Dixon's comment, and we'll talk about that. To be fair, I think Empire being the first game to add garrison troops is the reason why they suck. Yeah, you're probably right, and that is true. That is very true. I think the garrison should be lesser line infantry. Yeah, I think honestly, like what Darth Mod did with the militia troops would be fine. I think that was not bad in that mod for that. So I do agree. Let's see here. Uber Gamer. Well, I think at least one or two elite units for capitals. I do agree with that. I think having a couple elite guards for the capitals would make sense. Honestly, it really would. And they should be some of the best units too. Minecraft King agrees. Lewis says it'd be cool if you could make your own faction in Total War games. I'd actually play the game more if they had the feature. I doubt they'll do that, but it's kind of like my dream. Yeah, I can totally agree with you. Where you can that honestly right there, that is a great idea, Lewis. That is fantastic. Where you could like start off somewhere where you take over with a small little nation, and you just build it up. Like you could pick where you want it, and you like break off from like if you want it in southern France, you break off from France, and you're able to start your own nation. That'd be freaking cool. If that's what you're saying, I love that idea. And you get to design your own uniforms, the colors. That would be freaking fantastic. I love that idea. Actually, I love that idea. Dixon says, like the French would get the Swiss Guards. Absolutely. I think that would absolutely be the case. That would be cool. You could have epic French revolutionary storming the Versailles. Yes. Yes. And I think like me and Dixon were talking about some of the new mods, and I'm terrible. My memory isn't as good as it used to be, but the absolute I think it's Absolute Dominion. There's a new mod that I've been playing, and we're talking about the aspects of France, because some of their units are pretty damn OP, but then they change out kind of to mimic the Napoleonic time period. That's a really cool aspect that they've added into that mod. Dixon can tell you more about that. But Thunder Force says, yeah, conquering the major city or capital especially should be freaking hard. Impossible even without really huge numbers and artillery. I totally agree, guys. I think we've got a really good consensus on that. Taking capital should be freaking hard and super rewarding if you're able to do that. It should be like even for like smaller factions, it should be a challenge. So like if you're taking Rome, it should be a challenge. It's not going to be as hard as Paris or London, but Rome, you should have levels of cities of strength. So like Dresden wouldn't be as difficult as Rome, per se. So you would have like those major cities that would be more difficult, and that would just make it like, fuck yes, I just took Rome, It's like you run out there and slap your wife on the ass because you just don't actually do that, but I'm just saying you'd be that excited. Anyways, moving on. Let's see. Yes, London in real life guarded by Coldstream. Yes, that'd be awesome. Exactly. Or if France becomes a republic and they become Republican guards. Yes, absolutely right. So I think those are some great ideas. Some absolutely fantastic ideas. Now, what we're talking about with mods, I think there's a lot of things that mods have done really well to the game. And it's great to see that people are able to do that. Dixon says, yeah, so in AD, if you, that's the mod we're talking about, Absolute Dominion. If you go Republic, most of your army actually disappears. So all your what do you call it? Monarchist armies, I guess you would say, will all go away. So you have to pray your neighbors don't invade you while you're trying to stabilize and get your new units to the front. So kind of like the mass conscription is what we had talked about. And I think that's absolutely wonderful. That's a great, adds a great element to the game. So that's a really cool mod. I've really been having fun with it. I can't wait to get back to it. I've just been loaded down with doing the Blitz campaign and other stuff. So, wait, that decided to slap you. Yes, and sadly, that's why I'm divorced twice, Lewis. After winning my first campaign, it caused my first divorce. I went there, smacked her on the ass, and that was it. Well, not really, but yeah. So two divorces later, right? That's a lot of Empire playing. My wives call themselves the Empire widows. Okay. A permanent damage to morale if you lose your capital unless you took it back. Yes. Totally agree. And they do have that in the game as it is. I'm not sure what the penalties are, but if you do lose your capital, you do get some penalties. Yeah. So, anyways, let's see. I think that covers a lot of ground. No, it's okay. Those were a long time ago. Those weren't really the reasons. No, the divorces are fine. I'm happily single now. Never get married again. But no, I actually just joke around. They're funny jokes. Actually, bringing up divorces has gotten me out of 2 traffic tickets. That actually is something that a lot of cops go through. So if you ever get pulled over, you can, be like, oh, is that? They always ask you, is that the address on your license? And I go, well, yeah, it's one of them. I'm actually going through a divorce. They're like, oh man, I know what you're going through. I've been there too. Just keep up the spirits. You'll get through it. Thank you, officer. I appreciate it. I'm just going to give you a warning today. I know you're going through a lot. It's terrible, I know. But it works. It works. Let's see. Dixon says instead of line infantry, you can recruit improved militia and buffered grenadiers, Imperial Guard. Yeah, and those look freaking awesome too. Those look like the old guard. They are badass. Yes, those are awesome, Dixon. That's just like makes the freaking fantastic of it. Yep, like the movie Water for Women, the devil. Yep, that's so true. Women are the devil. Rick Gamer, horse artillery that runs with the cannons. Yes, all of them actually. That would be awesome. Totally agree there. Let's see. Well, I'm under 21, so exactly how well that would work. So let's just say if you're under 21, being somebody that's been married twice, I could give you some wonderful advice. If you ever do happen to get married, when you go to register at places, always register for 2 of everything. That way, if you ever do get divorced, you both have something. It's a great thing. Anyway, just kidding. It's just jokes. Just jokes. Yep. Minecraft King's prepared for his first time. See, Minecraft, you don't even have to really be married. You just got to be able to tell the lie good enough, okay? You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Lou says, love the Napoleon Old Guards. Yes. Napoleon's Old Guards were OP. Even the Young Guards were pretty cool. I do say Napoleon had some pretty good aspects to the game. But what is it about Napoleon I didn't like compared to Empire? Number one, the campaigns. The campaigns were just... They lacked the interest. I just could not keep interested in the campaigns in Napoleon. I don't know if it was just the lack of skill and knowing what I could be doing in Empire. I think that had a big part of it, to be honest with you. It's like being single for so long and then you're married and then you know you don't get as much. That's what Napoleon is. Napoleon's like the married man of Total Wars. Empire's like the single guy. You could go any damn where you want. You can go to the Americas. You can go to India. You can go to South America. You can go to Russia. You can go damn where anywhere you want. But when you're married in Napoleon Total War, you're just stuck in Europe. So Napoleon's the married man's game. That's how my analogy of it. Anyways, let's see. Yes, with age comes wisdom. You're so right, Rick. Dixon says, it bothers me that you can have 24-pound field guns in Empire. Considered that as a huge cannon. The largest Civil War field gun was like 20-pound rifle cannon. I know. Daisy, I did just get broken up with today, so I can kind of relate. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I truly am. It is never a fun thing. So my heart goes out to you there. Yeah, you love that analogy of Total War. I'm gonna have to. Maybe I should do that as my my channel trailer. Empire is like the single man's Total War. That would be great, I think. I really do. So Lewis asked, do all the tribal factions in Empire have the same strength like some of them, or are they OP or weak? Yes, like in the new Total War games, I got Empire and Napoleon Total War last Christmas. Okay, so I guess the best way I could describe the native factions if you're playing them. So in the campaign, they're all fairly similar that you're going to go up against. If you get to them in the late game, there is going to be differences. I do find, and this is in multiplayer as well, that the Obajiwas, that the Huron recruit are pretty tough. They are pretty tough, and they will spam them like crazy. So the Huron would be the more difficult faction that you'll come across with on the battlefield. Um, the the Iroquois, I don't. Plains nations, the Pueblo, they're pretty much a pullover. See, the thing you got to remember, the best units the Pueblo and the Plains nations have are their cav units. Their infantry are all just basic units. They don't have any really good DLC units for the Plains nations or the Pueblo. So those two nations are probably the weakest you'll come to in the campaign. If that helps explain that to you. Let's see. Yeah, everybody loves that comparison. What it needs to be is single again. Yes, like Empire. Yeah, there you go. So Napoleon, what does Napoleon need to be better? It needs to be single. You're absolutely right. Yeah, the Iroquois do start overrunning the 13 colonies. That is a great point, Dixon. They'll start taking over New York and Boston. They'll take Maine and Pennsylvania even. So they get the whole northeastern portion. And then the Cherokee are not bad. They'll take the Carolinas and Florida from Spain. So the Cherokee can sometimes have pretty good campaigns. The Iroquois often overrun 13 colonies. Yep. We talked about that. Let's see. I missed. Minecraft says he lost a girlfriend 5 years ago. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, sir. That helps explain it. I think he was talking about the 13 colonies. I'm just kidding. I think one thing we haven't talked about, I think I just lost my train of thought. Talk about all these single married analogies. Oh God, now I lost. Let me go back through the chat here. There's something we were talking about here that made me think about that could be a factor that they need to think about in the game. Oh, I remember what it was. Sorry. The Orange Crush. That's something that needs to be prevented in Empire 2. No OP Maratha. Dixon Snyder. Yeah, I've seen Cherokee largely push factions out of U.S. South and move towards Mexico many times. Yeah, that is true. They'll take Louisiana and Texas. The Cherokee, I've seen them go bananas. Yeah, so the Cherokee and Iroquois, they expand the most, but on the battlefield, I think the Huron are the bigger challenge, but that's only late game. Early period, they're all pretty much going to be the same on the battlefield. When I first started playing the game, I hated going up against those native auxiliary gun cav. They were such a pain in the ass. That and the camel gunners in India. God dang, I used to hate those. That damn 90 range, they would just keep popping shots off at me. Dixon says, I was just about to ask about the Maratha Horde. Yeah. The Orange Crush. Gosh, wouldn't that be something in Empire 2? Oh, we got the new game. God damn it, they didn't fix the Orange Crush. It's still in the new game. Yeah, that would be a trip. That would be a trip. But anyways, let's see. What else have we missed talking about? The Uber Gamer, I'd like to see the North and South Carolina to be separate thing, and Georgia be large. Also, I'd like to see a Texas Republican. Yeah, that would be cool. Texas, my friend. Got to do the Texas. That's a necessity. The Alamo. Got to have the fucking Alamo in there. All right, Thunder Force says in Dark Mod, Indians were so OP that they were always dominating 13 colonies, U.S. and such. Yeah, I don't remember as much. I tried to pick up playing Dark Mod not long ago, but it's been so many years I don't even remember what my experience. I actually played a Cherokee campaign once, and I got pretty far on it. But I don't really remember too much because I never played USA in Darth Mod. I've mostly only played European factions, so I don't even think really I had too much. The thing always pissed me off Darth Mod, like I've always said, even that recent one I was doing with Poland, Lithuania, they just crash, and then it's like all that works for nothing. So it's a pain in the ass. Let's see. Minecraft, my favorite charging movies. Dixon, why is their AI so aggressive? I don't know, but man, if they could only have sprinkled a little bit of that aggressiveness on some of the other factions of the AI, it would have been so cool. Like hell, just like, like take some of Maratha's aggressiveness and duplicate it to like Russia and freaking Prussia and France and Great Britain. Then, you would have had a challenge playing as like Austria and Poland, Lithuania. That would be cool. That would be very cool. Let's see where we're at. Jordan says 1860s. Yes, 1860s would be very cool. Like we were talking about a civil war, where if you have factors that if you're playing as the United States, if you don't adhere to these certain things, you're going to have a civil war. That'd be freaking cool. Texas to be its own country. Yes, we're talking, man. We are talking. Lou says I would like to see a Texas total war. That would be fantastic. I think we have possibilities there. Texas is, after all, really the biggest state. No, it's not. Alaska would come down and kick our butt if we said that. So I can't say it. Second biggest. But anyways, moving on. Let's see. Kitty Cat Samurai. Hello. How you doing, Kitty Cat? Welcome to the chat. How do you want new unit skins for the British Grenadiers? That, I think, would be cool. There's been some mods that have done some pretty cool skins for the Grenadiers. Dixon, here's something interesting from Attila colonizing new territories. It takes so many turns to colonize a region or so on. Yeah, I think that would be a pretty cool thing to add as well. Why Cuba on map so close to Florida? So that brings something to my memory there, Minecraft. Okay, so one of my most unpopular videos on the channel is the one that was like a spoof of an old Gallagher routine, the Sledge-O-Matic. Anyways, he was an old comedian, and it's like my most disliked video. I was trying to be funny in it. Anyways, Gallagher used to always say in one of his routines that Florida it was back in the 80s, so mind you, it was during the Cold War. And he'd say Cuba has the unfortunate aspect of looking like Florida's always taking a piss on it. Anyways, that's what that made me think of there, Minecraft. Sorry, random thoughts. Rick Gamer says Imperial Splendor. Rick, I think that's a great thing to talk about. Imperial Splendor. So I haven't gotten to play it a whole lot, but I can tell you like the things I like about it that I think that they could add into Empire 2 that would make for a pretty cool aspect is Imperial Splendor had where the troops cost a hell of a lot to get. So like whenever you recruit an army, you better damn well be careful with them. So it really made the battles meaningful because you couldn't field a whole lot of armies. And I think it kind of is more realistic to the time period too, because You didn't see like in Darth Mod where you had 40 freaking stacks all over the place that you're up against, and I think that's a more realistic aspect to the game. Your recruitment, I mean, your upkeep costs wasn't super high, but your recruitment was. And that's if I'm remembering correctly, because like I said, my experience in the mod isn't a whole lot, but that's what I've experienced with it. I think that's a really cool aspect of the game, because even though there's not like a whole bunch of stacks you're going up against, I know some people like that in Dark Mod, but I find it totally time draining, and that's one of the things I don't like about Dark Mod is that you end up fighting so many stacks, you just get like bogged down and it takes forever. Let's see, where were we? Daisy says Poland has always been bullied both in game and real life. Dixon says poor Poland. Yes, that is true. But you know what? Honestly, like I've seen Poland, Lithuania. Actually, they're pretty strong in a lot of the campaigns I play. Their AI actually seems to whoop up on Prussia and Austria quite a bit. Not always, but it seems like more often than not they do. Poopsie Doodles. I love that name. That's a great name. Poopsie Doodles. Add more Africa. I totally agree there. That totally needs to happen in here. Why they didn't put more, it just baffles me. I always thought that was a huge missed opportunity. Because there is so much that goes on in Africa, and there's so many resources. I mean, freaking Africa is the most resource-rich continent on the planet. The fact that is not on there more. I mean, they do have the trade nodes in two regions, of course, in West Africa and East Africa. But you think that we would have got a little bit more regions in there. So I totally agree there. Kitty Cat Samurai says there should have been optional years. Conquest 1700, 1750s, 18. Yeah, exactly. Uprising, including Texas. There we go. We're talking. Mexico, France, and others. Yes, I think we were talking about that a little bit earlier. Is kind of like in medieval, the first medieval, they had different start points that you could do. So you had different aspects of the campaign. And, kind of like what you can get with some of the other mods that you do. You can start. I mean, some of the mods do it, so I mean, why not in that? Because I think it's a cool aspect, and it's definitely something that they should add in. I agree. Thunder Force says, well, Brand Max AI mod is perfect for boosting the AI aggression. Too bad it changes the battles and economy, and that's the biggest problem with it. I agree 100%. Okay, so my experience with the Brand mod has been a long time ago, and I honestly, I still seen some of the same aspects on the battlefield. The battlefield, and especially in Darth Mod too, both the Darth Mod and Brand's AI get a lot of credit, but it still suffers from a lot of the same problems Vanilla does. And I really challenge to say on the battlefield that it makes that much of a difference. I think realistically, with Darth Mod especially, where you see the bigger challenge is that the AI acts almost identical to Vanilla. The difference is that Cav is a little more has a little bit more strength, so you have to prepare in layers of defense to be able to shoot the Cav off your lines as they come up. So you're going to take some friendly fire, but you're going to be hitting more of the Cav because Cav is a bigger target. But that was one of the things I found with Darth Mod. The AI really basically acts the same. It's just a little bit more challenged because the Cav's more difficult. And your units route faster. And they will rally back, but they always route faster. And that's the reason why the Cav can kind of steamroll you so quickly in Darth Mod. if that makes sense. I mean, maybe somebody disagrees with me. I could be completely wrong on that. I'm not absolutely the expert on it by any means. Let's see. Every Poland real life, they get, yeah, they do get. That is true. Kitty Cat Somewhere also, may I add, the additional Midwest California, a few more. I totally agree there. The fact that we only get to New Mexico, that's so sad. I mean, California, I totally agree with you there. Have a good night, Minecraft. I appreciate you for stopping in. Dixon says, bring back the manpower from Rome 1 and Medieval 2. Yes. Yes, I totally agree. It will make farms even more valuable. Yeah, and the population, that's a big thing. Got to add back in the population that aspects that you have in those games. Thunder Force says, hey, Poland had almost 700 years of glory and victories. That's true. Don't judge the country for its darkest times. And always, yeah, and also they got double teamed. They got DP'd in World War II. Sorry for the porn reference. I feel terrible about it. Anyways, Lewis says, would it be better if Napoleon would have the Americas? I'm sorry, I can't even read anymore. Have the Americas with the Seminole faction, or that is a great point. That is a freaking excellent point. It's good enough that not to mess around, just leave it on Europe. Adding the Seminole faction, I think, is a huge missed opportunity. Freaking Seminoles were dominant. I totally agree with that. That is a great point. One I've not seen before. Thunder Gamer says, I'd also have to I'm sorry. I gotta get better at reading here. I'd also like to have a burn and retreat like system, like what Russia always does when invaded, and it causes attrition like Desert and Winter and Napoleon and new Total War games. I totally agree. Especially since at that time period you had to live off the land. I think that's a very good point. Daisy, that's let's see. Daisy says, that's fair, Thunder. Too bad most people, when they think of Poland, they think of the worst times. That's very true. Kitty Cat Samurai responded to my previous about more conquests, also including certain skins in certain areas, like Rome Total War and Medieval 2 Total War. It would feel more like the era and technologies is advanced. Totally agree. They and kind of like what Dixon was talking about, like with the mod AD mod, because you lose all the old units like in Rome. Well, you still have them, but you're not able to recruit anymore, and you're not able to replenish them. So if you have the Hastati and so forth, the Triarii, you still keep them around, but they're going to eventually deplete. I always had a challenge of trying to keep those guys as healthy as long and try to get them to the end of the campaign. Why, I don't know, but I just love that. Anyways, let's see. Thunder Gamer says, but it should be progressive attrition. So the deeper you go, the more attrition you take. Yeah, the further from your supply line, the worse it gets. Totally agree. Rick Gamer, Dixon, like that. Rick Gamer, it's been 3:45 a.m. there in England. Damn, dude. Yeah, you need to get you some sleep. Need to bedtime. You enjoy your night's sleep, Rick. Thank you for staying for the stream. I really appreciate it, sir. Definitely check out Rick's channel. He's got a great channel. Does some great stuff. Him and Seth Charo do some great content. So you definitely got to check him out. Let's see. Adding Seminole faction would be good, though, because Napoleon was taking place in the early 1800s, and the Seminole started in the early 1800s. It'd be very cool to match it up with two wars. Yeah, but it's kind of conflicted. The Seminoles could have been around a lot longer. There's really a lot of questions on the starting time period of the Seminole. Um, it depends on what source you believe, because you got to remember the victors write the history, and a lot of times the history they write isn't really factual. So who knows what really happened? Disney, I miss watching these live streams. The last time I was in one, you were playing your pirate campaign, and you were talking about giving them the days. I do remember that. I do remember that. Those were the times. And yes, the pirates are going to be coming back. I will be reviving that campaign here soon. So we'll be continuing with that campaign for those of you wondering. Yeah, and also I will be doing a lot more of these live streams. It's just been work's been pretty hectic lately, and I've during the start of the COVID-19, I had my kids actually here because my ex had to work, and with the kids out of school, it was just easier for me to keep them here because I have my family here that could help with the kids, and I have 3 of them, so that took a lot of my time as well. And it's just hard. I know some of you have been around when I've had my kids on the stream, and they're okay, but it still gets a bit noisy. So it's just hard to stream when the kiddos are around. Although it's not too bad. I remember Pixelated Apollo said units should be regional. So if you're campaigning in India, your units will replenish slower. And you have to recruit local troops. That's a great point, and I agree totally on that. They should be regional, and you shouldn't be able to just recruit extra Swiss Guard out of nowhere. If you do get them, they should be super slow recruitment. And so Empire, it takes 2 turns to replenish your unit. In Napoleon, you just, as long as you're in your region, they slowly replenish. I honestly, that's one of the things I think Napoleon did a little bit better than Empire, because I think it was just too easy to get your armies back to full strength in Empire. Anyways, bear with me just a second. Talk amongst yourselves in the stream for just a moment while I check something out here. Okay, sorry for that brief delay. And I am back to the stream. All right. Yes, I will be definitely giving those pirates the Daisy Dukes once more. That was, I'm debating whether I'm going to continue I think what I will do when we bring back the pirate campaign, I think I will just continue that with live stream. I think that would be better. I think that's a pretty fun campaign to do live. So I will be going back to the Pirates live here in the near future. Back to the Pirates. Anyways, okay. Trying to catch up where I'm at. Lou says, didn't Napoleon Zulu mod had full America with only 3 or 4 faction? I've never played that mod. I know that several of the other people in the chat have. Dixon, I think you've played it. And by the way, Dixon's channel is ATK Productions. So definitely check out his channel. He's got a great channel. He does a lot of live streams. Not as many as he used to, like me. But I'm sure he's going to be back at it. He's too talented not to. Let's see. The Uber Gamer says, I'd also like to add a system in which you capture cannons. Yes, you're absolutely right. That I am in total agreement with as well. And see, if I'm not mistaken, you could do that in Imperial Glory. The naval battles in Imperial Glory are very similar to what you get in Empire. You could capture ships, and I think I'm almost definitely positive you could capture artillery in that as well. And also, when you ran down men with your cav, instead of just running them down, you actually captured them, and you had the ability to sell them off or kill them, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a long time since I played. I'd have to watch a Let's Play on it. But those were cool aspects. And I think, I feel like I'm committing mass genocide when I'm running down those guys at the end of battles. But it seems to be kind of important to do so you don't have those damn units running amok through your regions. Where was I? Kitty Cat Samurai says, well, I'm off to play Empire Total War with Great Britain. Wish me luck. I have my own little mod, Sound, Smoke, and a bunch of others. We do wish you luck, Kitty Cat. Have a good time playing. Thank you for joining the stream, sir. Thunder Force 1299. I'd like to see some internal politics and some spicy things in King's Court. Struggle for power and conspiracies. Nothing too complicated like Paradox games, but a little bit danger within. That is a cool aspect as well. I agree. Have full Africa. That is a must. Not full America, I mean full Africa. Yes, I think that Africa, especially the fact, like we were saying, it's the most resource-rich region in the world. So why not have more Africa? You're very welcome, Dixon. ATK Productions, a.k.a. ATK Productions. Anyway, let's see. Does anyone remember Cold Meat 247? That sounds very familiar. Cold Meat 247. That sounds very familiar. Extremely familiar. Where do I know that from? Let's see. Dixon says Frederick the Great would force prisoners into military service, so it would be cool to replenish. Yes, that would be. I agree totally there. Have a good one, Kitty Cat. Have a good time on your campaign, sir. Yes, I think it is getting late. I think that is a good point. It is kind of getting close to bedtime. Got some college work to do. You have good luck on your college work. And yeah, this stream has gone on a little bit longer than I expected. It's 2 hours. So I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. We can probably, you'll be able to look forward to see me here soon for some more streams. You're very welcome there, Kitty Cat. And don't forget to look me up on Steam, and look forward to seeing more streams. We will have more coming. So once again, guys, I thank you all for coming to the chat. I think this is a lot of fun. God, I really miss doing the streams. They are a lot of fun. So we will look forward to seeing y'all for the next one and for the future videos. Thank you, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Have a good night.